So it's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
My mic is muted. My thing is telling me. I don't know why my mic is muted. Everyone can hear me okay? Everyone can hear me okay? Testing, 1, 2. Testing, 1, 2. See, that's what happens when Paddy isn't here. No sound? Am I still muted? This is going to make for great listening back on the audio podcast afterwards. And thank you for everybody who listens to the audio podcast as well. It makes my day. Welcome to a lovely Saturday morning here in Ireland. Lovely, fresh morning. I do have a confession to make though. I'm slightly hungover. So I need Aston Villa to make my day a lot better than my morning has been so far. I accidentally fell into about 15 pints last night, and I regret nothing. But hopefully, it's as I said, Aston Villa can take the edge off today. Waiting on Paddy. I know Paddy was at a football game last night. He went to see Shelbourne and Shamrock Rovers in the Dublin derby last night, and it was a 2-2 draw. And it got me thinking when I was watching this game, when I was watching bits and pieces of that game last night and highlights of it. I was thinking, you know what, a 2-2 draw today would actually be a really good result for Villa. Don't get me wrong, I want Villa to win. I obviously want Villa to win. I want Villa to win every single game they go out and play. But today is a real litmus test. It's a real barometer, I suppose, of where our European aspirations lie, and whether this is a false dawn or whether this is a true awakening or whatever the case may be. You guys know, I know that I think this is a true awakening. But as I say, it's today is our biggest test really since I'd nearly go so far as saying since we played Brighton and Man United when Unai Emery first came in. Yes, we had Arsenal and City and in between that period of time, but I really think that we were kind of still kind of assimilating and trying to kind of get the grips with Unai Emery at that period of time, and now we seem to be in a rich vein of form. So this is the first time we've played a top team when we've been in a real rich vein of form that we can point to over a concerted period of time. And yes, I know there's been articles recently, or there's been trades on Twitter that Villa fans have taken umbrage to, where Villa have been called lucky. Personally, I don't really buy into a lot of that stuff. I that article specifically was referencing XG. Long-time listeners to the podcast will know that I take, while I like statistics, and I use statistics in all my scouting stuff and everything, I also use it with watching players as well. And one of the statistics you'll very rarely see me pop up on one of my stat sheets is XG. And the reason being is because I always find that it's and I know all stats are historical barometer of how that player has played. But I think XG is based on, it tries to take out the intangibles of football and make everything very rudimentary and rigid. And football just isn't like that, because flukes happen and teams win against, teams lose when they've got like 7 and 8 XG, and massive numbers in XG, and teams win when they've got small XG as well. So look, as I say, today's game, I'm thinking is going to be a good game of football. I would absolutely love, Status says I watch football with my eyes closed, only look at stats. But I would love if we could get a result. Any points out of today, I think is going to be good. And should we win today, genuinely, the excitement would be palpable here on the podcast if we win today. Paddy is here. Patrick, how was the Tallaght Stadium last night?
Tallaght Stadium was lively last night. It's Dublin derby and didn't get home till 20-2 this morning, so a little bit tender this morning. But we got a point out of it, so all good.
Exactly.
Unexpected points are always good. And I think we might get at least an unexpected point today.
I think so too.
Point, whatever way you want to look at it.
Yeah, I think so too. Speaking of unexpected points and unexpected points, as I said, I had unexpected points last night, and I ended up signing up for a darts team. I was reliably informed this morning, so better start practicing here behind me. But less of the darts talk and less of the Tallaght Stadium talk. Paddy, waking up on a Saturday morning, the day of what I feel is probably our the fairest test that we've had so far, based on the fact that Una has had a chance to implement his tactics, implement his mindset within the team, and now we're coming up against probably our most formidable foe on a more level playing field. I think would that be fair to say, Paddy?
Yeah, I think that's fairly fair. We've had a okay. I'll keep going. We've had a kind of same trajectory as they've had last season. They went from 5 or 6 defeats in the opening 6 or 7 games to finishing way up the table under their current management team, and then obviously the takeover and everything else. So, in my opinion, we're exactly on the same trajectory as them, albeit they are a year ahead. So we've got to bear that in mind when you consider that people will get low if we lose today. We got to be a bit measured about that if we lose today. I'm not predicting to lose today by any means. I honestly think we can get something out of it. I said during the week that I was predicting a draw. I still predict a draw. I think the team sheet might change that, but at the moment, that's the way I'm thinking. Bear in mind that they are ahead of us. They're ahead of us in the league. They're ahead of us in performances. They've got some great players in there, and I'm really. This is probably the game that I've looked forward to the most all season. It just has the potential to be an absolute cracker.
Yeah, I think it'll be. It could be one for it's got two ways of going. I think today it could be one for the purists, whereby two teams are set up really well tactically. Because as we said in our pre-match in the preview, a lot of credit has to go to Eddie Howe. He's really shown that he's a good coach. Yes, they've had investment over the summer. And bringing some big players in the likes of Botman and the likes of Commemoration and so on. In Alexander Isak, they've brought in a big money signing in each line all the way up. Villa haven't had that direct investment under Unai Emery. Yes, we've spent money in past years or whatever, but we're still using a team from 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago, which is amazing. But what I was saying is that both teams are going to be set up well. As I say today, I'm not expecting a goal fest. Now, as I say, I've been saying this the whole way through. I want to tempt the gods in that one. I want a goal fest. I'm not expecting one. But I don't really care what happens today as long as we get the win out of it.
So he makes a really good shout here to play Dean ahead of Moreno, but I'd be of the opinion to play both of them.
That's what I'm saying here.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I didn't read the whole thing. Yeah, that's what I would do today. I think that would be the bolter that would really upset the apple cart today, and might throw the cat amongst the pigeons for them. So it'll be an interesting team sheet, but I'm not expecting too many changes. I think possibly Den Donker, as we discussed earlier in the week, having got his cameo at the end of last weekend, could see him start today just for that brutal presence in the middle.
Yeah, I think I like, as I said, it's funny being a Villa fan with an open mind is a new experience. Well, it's something that I've had to retrain myself into because it hasn't really been there for the last 10 to 15 years since Martin O'Neill was here. But we can now look, like as I've said before, we might have to even look at changing the name of this show from a team sheet tantrum to something else, because that's where the trust factor in Unai Emery comes in, that he could turn around and play Sinisalo central midfielder and people will go, what's the reasoning behind that? As opposed to going, Unai's lost his mind. He's playing a goalkeeper in the central midfield. You almost expect him to have a plan. And, as I've said before, you get I think me personally, I've got that giddy, childish excitement. And I kind of see, when you're a kid and when you're really young, that, your dad or your father figure always has the answers. And I'm beginning to feel that way about Unai Emery at the moment. I kind of trust him. I say, he's doing something. There's a reason behind it. He has an answer for something here, and long may that continue, because having that confidence and having that trust and that assuredness in the custodian of the team is really important, and something we haven't had for quite a long time. We nearly have some comments, or we have some comments there as well. We're nearly at team sheet time as well. Sai is saying he's gutted he can't get there today. His 6-year-old grandson is after breaking his walking stick, but he's sat sulking in Fleetwood. Well, hopefully the Villa will cheer you up. Sai, Connor, good to see you listening in from Brazil. And Liam Richards says it's 5:18 a.m. local time. I'm ready to tantrum over anything. I saw that great promo that Premier League in USA put out, and our wonderful friend Rick Leong was in it as well. But it was about 4:30 a.m. start for people on the west coast of the US. So I feel your pain.
Team is in here.
Team is in. I'm not going to do the team alert.
Predictions came true anyway.
Yeah. Let's pop up the team here. Boom. It seems to be, spoiler alert, there's not very many tantrums going to be happening today, except for really, I suppose. Dendoncker is in. There he is. Look at him. That's Leander Dendoncker. So we've got Martinez in goals, Young, Konza, Mings, Alex Moreno, McGinn, and Dendoncker with Douglas Luiz and Jacob Ramsey and Buendia and Ollie Watkins. And I feel like I read the team very weirdly there. A lot of ands in there. I don't know what it is. Substitutes are Olsen, Sinisalo, Diego Carlos, Traore, Chambers, Duran, Dina, Seb Revan, and Travis Patterson makes the bench. I know a certain AVFC Academy or at Academy AVFC who is literally going to be at home doing a really happy dance over Mr. Patterson, because we've been having a conversation during the week about this guy has really he's like a caterpillar that's got into his chrysalis and come out a butterfly over the last few months. That's really interesting. He's a striker and he's on the bench.
Very interesting. So who's he replacing is what I'm trying to figure out here.
No, Leon Bailey.
Oh, yeah. Obviously, Leon Bailey. Yeah. I missed him that much.
Yeah.
Look. That's exactly, other than the other bolter that we suggested, that's exactly as we expected this team. It wasn't going to be anything bells and whistles to make us all shout and roar. I know there's going to be people at home that are getting this Twitter announcement that are going, what the hell is Leandro Dendoncker doing in there? There is a method to the madness. We saw it at the end of last week. We gave him minutes in his legs. There was a game during the week, I believe, in order to get some players minutes in the legs. So here we are. That's the team. That's the team we got to get behind. We have a professor at the helm who, in my opinion, has picked probably the best team available to him. But there's no tantrum here, as you say.
Just a small bit on Travis Patterson as well. He was only signed to a scholarship deal in July of last year, 2022. He's represented England at under 17 level. I think he's only 17 himself. Maybe he's just gone 18 now, but he's already playing with the Villa under 21s, and now he gets a chance to get a look at what it's like to be on the bench for game day. So to Mr. Patterson and to all his family, a fantastic day, and the same for the Revan family as well. We've all spoken about young players through the academy, young players coming through. We've got 2 on the bench for us, and we've got 1 in the team today, and that is massive progress, I think, for Aston Villa Football Club. Yeah. And long may it continue. Long may we continue to see those, because a lot of people might have just originally kind of pointed at the underage teams and said, oh yeah, it'll be Rory Wilson that'll be on the bench sooner than later. Mr. Patterson has his chance now, and as an 18-year-old, I think he's only about 18, go take it, be the hero.
Well, Neil, do you know when Gerard came in and you were slagging me, what's it like to have a manager that's younger than you managing Aston Villa, and I felt really, really old. Today I feel even older, because Travis Patterson was born on the 6th of October 2005, which makes him 5 months younger than my eldest son. So now I'm feeling very old.
Yeah. Yikes.
There you go.
But as I say, he's won appearance for the under 18s this year, 1 goal, and he came on as a substitute for in Premier League 2 for the under 21s as well. So excellent, great to see. He can play basically anywhere, left back, left midfield, up front. So he's very, very versatile player, it seems, as well. Let's take a little look at some of your comments, and while we're doing that, I will try and bring up the Newcastle United team. Paddy, do you want to go through a couple of comments there while I go search for the Newcastle United team? I'm running
go
on
ahead.
vapors at the moment.
So we have John says then Donker will do all right. We need the height and the muscle in defence. That's exactly what we were getting at. That's exactly why he's in there. There's a little bit more steel. We probably will see a little less attacking impetus from John McGinn as well today. I think that will be sitting a little bit deeper than usual. So yeah, looking forward to seeing how Den Donker gets on. Obviously didn't trust him earlier in his regime. Has him completely up to match fitness or he wouldn't be playing today, and that's the only way we can look at it.
Is it Den Donker's birthday today?
Is it?
Somebody said he's going to score a birthday goal today. Yeah, born the 15th of April, 1995. April's a great month to be born. Great month to be born. April is, yeah. The best people are normally born in April. That's what I've been reliably told.
Around now, Neil.
Yeah, yours truly is.
Is it
yeah,
today?
so this is. It's not. No, it's. What day is the 17th? Monday. Yeah.
Well, happy birthday in advance on Monday, Neil, because I'm pretty sure we won't do a podcast on Monday, but just in case we don't, happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
We celebrated your birthday last weekend, and boy, did we celebrate it.
Yeah, absolutely. We have Newcastle team sheet. Look at the boy Gordon, the man who was substituted off last week and threw a bit of a tantrum himself when he was substituted off. Eddie Howe handled that brilliantly. He just said, look, he's a passionate player. I don't see much in it. He didn't come out all guns blazing in the press, but Anthony Gordon starts today. Nick Pope in goals, Kieran Trippier, who's somebody we're going to really have to marshal, Fabian Schär and Botman, who've got a really good partnership there, and then the gigantic Dan Burn at left back. Grimage, Joe Willock and Joe Linton in the middle of midfield with Jacob Murphy and Anthony Gordon playing behind and Alexander Isaac leading the line. So they've got a bench of Dubravka, Lascelles, Wilson, Ritchie, Target, that name is familiar. Manquillo, Almiron, Anderson, and Longstaff is in there. So I suppose the big news there is that Miggy Almiron isn't playing today. He's gone off the boil slightly. I'm always reluctant to say that, and I mean that in the nicest way. Like, I'm not slagging him or anything, because obviously we know that these players come back to bite us. But he had a brilliant goal scoring spurt at the start of the year. But
he's been injured as well. He's only back today from injury. Yeah, so
exactly.
He's obviously not up to full fitness, or he'd be in there, because he has come fully out of his shell since Jack Grealish took the piss out of him at the end of last season. So, look, it's a strong team. With you, like, I don't get the whole Anthony Gordon hype. I really don't. I've seen him in the flesh. I thought he was a lazy player. Could come back to bite me today, obviously, as we say. Isaac, I think, is the danger. I think he has the mental ability to get inside our defenders' heads. That's the kind of player he is. That's my worry for today. I hope he doesn't wind anyone up. Finger pointing at Tyrone Mings. That's the kind of thing that this guy could do. Obviously, there is so much talent in that midfield three of Guimaraes, Willock, and Joe Linton. We just don't know which of them is going to turn up. That's the only thing that you're going. You know what you're going to get from Bruno. The other two can turn up one day and go missing for 3 days. That's their problem. But absolutely super at the back. Dan Burn, Sven Botman, Fabian Schär, Kieran Trippier. Kieran Trippier is one of the signings of the season, as is Sven Botman. They are going to be really, really tough to break down. They're going to make life really, really difficult for us. We have got to be as patient as we were last week. Enjoy the game of chess and wait for the professor to work his magic.
Vinny says something great as well. Cahoot Gaming. Imagine a day in this day and age where you see Joe Linton, Willock, and Murphy, and we're not playing in the championship. In fact, the opposite. And that goes to the tremendous work that Eddie Howe has done in reigniting players at that team as well. It was funny in our match preview underneath it. A couple of Newcastle fans jumped in and were. I'm going to say they were. It was pretty trolling behavior, which is fine. But, all I did was I went back to them, kill them with kindness, because at the end of the day, they're on a run of form and we're on a run of form. We just enjoy the game today and hopefully Villa get the result. And if Villa get the result, I'm going to go into every single Newcastle podcast and leave comments underneath as well. I'm only joking. I'm joking in case there's any retribution. But no, look, it's going to be an interesting game today. I'm going to be honest with you. 12:30 is a good time because it'll be over about 2:00. I'm going back to bed for the day after that because I'm running on vapors today. I don't know where I'm getting my smile even from for this podcast today. So I am wrecked. But but yeah, and Dara, you are right. You did see my face reacting to the message. I was reading Dara's message above here. It is where was it? Now that Villa are top 6, will Neil stop retweeting the other 14 Twitter accounts? And I did have a little smirk on my face when I read that. So you're dead right. You know me too well.
But the other 14 refers to the others that aren't the greedy 6 who think they're above everybody else and are going into the Super League. Isn't that really what it's about? It's not about
too early in the morning for that crack. Too early. Where are we next? Where are we? Start popping in your match or your score predictions there, guys, because we're gonna be finishing up there in a moment. Why did Cowboy Gaming says, why did Newcastle put Claire Balding on the team sheet? Okay.
When Neil would have put that comment up.
That's cool. That's Vinny. That's Vinny. Paddy, what do you think the score is going to be today?
I think it's going to be very cagey. I said 0-0 during the week. I'm trying to be eternally optimistic about what we have. So I'm going to go with a 1-0 Villa win with an Ollie Watkins penalty.
Woo!
That's how tight it's going to be.
There we go. Someone enjoyed his match last night. Coming up with stuff like that. I think, I expect it to be a good game. I expect there to be some blood and thunder in the middle of midfield. I suppose the only thing I can say with great certainty today is I'm gonna say with great certainty John McGinn gets booked today. I just have a feeling he's going to be right up for today. And he's back out in his wing role again, out in that wide midfielder role. So he'll be able to carry that ball a small bit more. Like you, Paddy, I've always said that I think Aston Villa can win every game 1-0, and while I would not be surprised, I think Newcastle United can win every game 1-0 as well. I think today I'm going to be a bit reserved today, and I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. And I think that's a good result for Villa. But as I've said before, us Villa fans are fickle. I'm as fickle as the rest of Villa fans. But if Villa win today, you will see some excitedness. You don't want to miss this post-match podcast, because I'll probably be doing it standing up and doing a hell of a lot of cheering, because things will start to get real if we pick up 3 points today. 3 points that we like, I suppose, realistically speaking, we cannot be sure of winning 3 points today. It'd be 3 points that we probably wouldn't have had on the board 6 or 8 weeks ago. And what I mean by that is, when you're doing your how many points we get from the next few games, our winning streak, our unbeaten streak will go on. We'll be up to 8 games unbeaten, if I'm not mistaken. Then we're coming close to the 10 games unbeaten that we had in the championship, and we all know how that progressed and what a magical way to end to the season that had. But it all starts today. So let's not lose today, I think, is the main thing. But should we win, the post-match podcast, I think, is going to be giddy, and I'll find energy from somewhere to do it. So we've got some in here. We've got Sai says, I'm going to take off Anthony Gordon there. So Sai says 2-2. Renewed RS says 1-1. Simon Kenny says 4-3 to Villa. Karpal Singh says 1-1 as well. Stuart says 2-1. John Steele says 1-0 to the Villa. Kevin Donnelly says 2-2. Be Happy says 1-1. Matt Parker says 1-0. Richard Edwards says 2-1 to the Villa with Watkins and McGinn scoring. Darkside says 3-2 to Villa. Colin Beard says 2-2. Spicy Pricey, who we met outside Villa Park last week, says 3-2 to Villa. McGinn last minute winner. I'd like that. No, I'd like that. Vinny says 1-1 as well. Mike Brosnan says 2-1 to Villa. Brian Thompson says 2-0. Dara's predicting that there's going to be 2 red cards. It wouldn't surprise me. There's something about early kickoffs that I always think they can turn into absolute, that there's going to be cards galore. I always just get that feeling from early kickoffs. But hopefully the 2 red cards are Newcastle. Yeah. Hopefully the 2 red cards are Newcastle side and not our side. Pete Bambridge says 1-0. Nicholas Foskett says 1-1 in a cagey game. Gareth Thomas says 2-1 Villa. John Duran says, I honestly can't call this one, but I love that. Ashley Hall says 3-2 to Villa. If we win today, I think we beat Manchester United and we finish 4th. My head's spinning. That would be amazing. Remote Property Flipper says 1-1. Deco Blanco says 2-1 to Villa. Giggs Sharma says 2-1 Villa. And McBee says 1-1 with Watkins to continue knocking them in. Where else are we? Patrick Hopkins says 2-0 to Newcastle, unfortunately. Pete still says 3-2 to Villa, last minute winner. Villa Park erupts. Glenn Dunster says, I feel a 1-1 tie, but I hope we can squeak out a 2-1 winner. Justin W says 1-0 to Villa. We'll score from a corner. We do nothing from corners. I remember during the Martin O'Neill days, or just before the Martin O'Neill days, more or less the David O'Leary days, that was a chant that you could hear at Villa Park. We do F all from corners. So Dennis White says 1-0, but I would love if we scored from a corner today, don't get me wrong. Bashik says Hart says 3-2, but Head says 2-2 up the Villa. 1-1 says Rob Henry. Any more results in there that people are saying? Sai says he'd be fine with a 0-0. Pete Bailey says too close to call if I had to say 1-1. Diavolo says 2-1 for me. It's a 3-2 Villa, says Spencer. 1-1 says NG. The unconditioned ride says 5-3 to Villa. Luke Webb says 0-all. 2-0 Villa, says Adam S. Patterson and Duran both off the bench. That would be nice. Andrew Monroe says 1-0. Generic Villa fan, thank you so much. Remember the 4-1 in 2007, he says as well. Brian Lynch says 2-0 to the Villa to keep the trend going against Newcastle at home. Aston Villa armchair fan says Nervy 0-0. Noah Connaughton is drinking hopium by the pints at the moment. He's, I think, did you make it to the Middle Trinity Noel? Cranso 86 says 2-1 to Villa from Kev in Newry, and Cat Cannon says 1-1. Keith Horrigan says 2-1 Villa, Watkins and Moreno. And that's going to do it, guys. That is brilliant stuff. Thank you so much, everybody.
Before you finish, Neil, just two quick things. Being that it's the 15th of April and the anniversary of the 97 people who gave their lives,
yes,
so we can sit in safe, in relative safety in a stadium. So they should not be forgotten on a day like today. There's 40,000 people going to sit in Villa Park very safely, very securely, all because they lost their lives. So never forget it. 97 people.
Never came
the day that's in it. Yeah, I hope there's a good round of applause before the game today. Also, being Grand National Day, there's a horse running today called Gabby's Cross. If somebody wants to do it, they're 10 cents each way on that one. Gabby's Cross.
Gabby's Cross. And before we go as well, I'm very, very bad at doing this. Check out the show notes as well. Sports Travel Tours, as we mentioned previously, they're a travel agent based out of the West Midlands and out of Dallas, Texas. They're doing packages for Villa in America. You can see there are 4 packages: Villa in Philly, Villa in DC, Philly in Orlando, and you can go for the full 9 days as well. If you go onto their website, which you'll find in the notes here under the podcast, you'll be able to click on a link there and register your interest, and you'll get an email with the pricings for those as and when those pricings are finalized. They should be finalized early next week if they aren't out already. So check them out. Sports Travel Tours. There, you'll find them on Twitter, you'll find them on Facebook, you'll find them at the link underneath here as well. And anybody who's thinking of going to Villa or going out to America to follow Villa, get in contact with Andrew. He's a Villa fan, and he's living over in Dallas, Texas, and he is absolutely melting in the sun over there at the moment, and I feel very, very jealous for him. So that's a little piece there on that as well. So I hope everybody is going to enjoy this game today. Get yourself parked in front of your TV if you're watching it from home. If you're on the way to the game, get there, soak up the atmosphere, sing your lungs out, and make sure that you cheer that team on to victory. The 12th man will be very important in the last 8 games that we have coming up here as well. So continue on the great tradition of singing your lungs out no matter where you are in the stand today. And with that, I need to go and get another pint of water and loads of ice to try and cure this throbbing pain in my head. But everybody, I hope you have a fantastic evening. Stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.
Up the Villa.